We're going over how you can pixelate or blur someone's face within DaVinci Resolve. It's a pretty easy technique that I use, and so let's break it down. Okay, we've got a clip in our timeline already. This is just some stock footage of, looks like some group therapy. Not really sure what's happening here, but the person whose face we're going to blur is this gentleman in the middle here. First, you're going to want to go down to your color tab right here on the bottom. Once in the color tab, we're going to go to this window here. It's actually called the window tab. This is where we're going to create the mask itself. You're going to want to click on this circular shape right here to create a circular mask. Now we can go ahead and change the size of this mask. We want to adjust it to our subject's face. So I'm going to make it smaller and kind of make it the correct size. If you drag up on the sides here, you can kind of slim it out. There's also some feathering you can do with the softness right here. That's always kind of nice right here. I think for me, I'm actually going to lower the softness to be probably about there. I don't want my mask edges to be too soft on the sides. I don't mind it being a little bit harsher if we're blurring someone's face. So I go to about that point there. Again, I'm just adjusting the size to match kind of where I want this to be. So we've got our mask there. As you can see though, it's going to just stay put in that one spot. And we want it to, of course, follow his face, keep his face blurred the entire time. So what I do is I actually go to my effects right here on the side. For me, it looks like the blurs already pop up on the side here. If you need to though, we're going to be using the Gaussian blur effect. So you can even search that, Gaussian blur. And it's the first thing to pop up. I drag and drop it onto the node that it already gives me here. And as you can see, we have a blur that's taking effect right now. On the side here, you have the slider with the strength, which is really nice if you want to be a little bit more harsher. You really don't want to see this person's face at all. You can just crank that up a little bit. I like to see the blur in effect before I start tracking the subject's face. Once the blur is applied to our mask, we can now move to this tracker window here. This is how DaVinci Resolve can automatically track your subject for you. Again, make sure your slider is at the beginning of your clip. It's not the worst thing if it's not, but I just like to make sure it's right at the beginning of that. And then you'll see, almost like you're playing a video itself, you'll see this little play button. We're going to click this button here and it should try to track this guy's face. So we'll click that. It's trying its best. It's doing okay. Not bad, not bad. Okay. Once it's done, it'll just kind of end right there. Let's see how it did. I'm going to full screen this and just see how it did on just tracking. I mean, it's not bad for DaVinci just trying to find this guy's face. You can see, I mean, it's a little tricky. This guy has some glasses, and so it's not perfect. As a side note, I don't usually have the zoom box selected. Normally that changes the scale of my mask, and I don't like that. So again, uncheck that if you don't want DaVinci trying to auto select or change your scale of the mask itself. Now we can go in and we can actually manually tweak anything that DaVinci messed up on while tracking. So I'm just going to scroll through here and I'm going to find the spot where DaVinci kind of messes up here. So right here, this guy, he turns to the side. I kind of want that faster. And so I'm going to go ahead and select this little keyframe dot here on the corrector. This will make it so as I drag and move the mask, it's going to automatically keyframe it for me. So we see that he moves. I'm going to slightly move this to the left just a little bit. Okay, DaVinci does the rest right there. It did okay tracking it. Then right here, it kind of goes down too fast. So I'm just going to drag it right there. Again, I'm just manually putting that in as needed. It kind of goes off to the side, so I'm going to push it to the left. And again, you'll see your keyframes are populating this little timeline right here. I also don't like how it's kind of off to the side there, so I'm going to push that. Again, I'm just scrolling through with my mouse, seeing how it does, and auto-correcting it, making sure that my corrector is selected. That way it applies my changes. I don't like how it's still trying to go off to the side there at the end. So we just manually selected it. I'll see how that looks now. Again, it's not bad. Not bad. Ear kind of pops out for a second. But that is essentially how you get the blur effect onto there. Next, let's go over the pixelation effect. We've already created the mask itself, so we don't really need to auto track again. It's already keeping that the same way. So we're just going to delete the Gaussian blur effect here. It's now gone, but we have a clean mask on the guy's face. We're going to back out of this. DaVinci Resolve calls the pixelation effect, I believe, the mosaic blur. Again, drag and drop that onto there. We'll see how this looks off the bat. This is with the pixelation. It's kind of cool. You kind of see this in a lot of like crime TV shows, I feel like. Again, I think that's a pretty good effect if you don't like the blur itself. And there's also some fine tuning that you can do on that effect itself. We'll go to like the pixel frequency. That's kind of cool. You can have it even more pixelated. That looks kind of goofy there. So I think it's always good to have a little bit. You can even change the cell shape, which is kind of cool. The one that I really like is the aliasing tool. I think I'm saying that right. You go ahead and drag that slider up, and it kind of adds like a blur to the edges of your pixelation, which is kind of cool. And there you go. That's how you blur faces within DaVinci Resolve. Again, I'm aware that there are plenty of other ways of doing this. Most people usually do like multiple nodes. In this case, I found it pretty easy to just use the first one and then apply your effect onto there. Let me know how you guys go about this down in the comments below. Let me know what you'd like to see next within DaVinci Resolve, and I will see you guys in the next one.